Hi everyone, today is Thursday, October 11. I'm going to title this video Light Skin, Dark Skin, Colorism. How do we actually deal with this bullshit? I was in a meeting recently and me and another sister actually started having a side conversation. And one of the things she said to me is that, you know what, she's so sick and tired of seeing all these images of black women where they're very light skinned, they've got straight hair, they're Christianized and they're thinking. She was just saying, you know what, that's some serious bullshit. And I said to her, oh yeah, I totally agree. Because you know what, for me, I love to see melanin rich. We're all melanin, but you know what, the melanin rich. And she totally agreed. And I had shared this example where I had seen these two beautiful sisters, really, really like just rich. And, I was just watching them. And I said, you know what, they're really playful and they're just having fun doing whatever they were doing. So I went over to them and I said to them, I said, you know what, you see you two? You should be on the cover, you should be on like some billboard or something. And maybe in the spread of a magazine, because you women are beautiful, very beautiful, and you're very playful. And you know what? I felt good saying that, because when I see something, I'm like, you know what? I gotta give it a compliment, right? And I saw something in those two women that was just so free-spirited, and I felt it. And I just went over there and I shared my compliment with them. You know, within the community, we have to address this thing called colorism. That thing is pure bullshit. In the global economic north where I am, for example, you have a lot of this stuff where, for example, light-skinned people, very, very light-skinned, they look down on the dark skins. And even within the male population, you have, for example, the light skin that will actually make fun of the dark skinned brothers. And I'm just like, what the fuck is that? I'm black, I love my blackness. And I realize we have to, interact with different people or whatever, but when we're trying to deal with how to reconstruct the black family, black relationships, black economies, and, black networks, etc., we also have to talk about these colorism ideas. Even gender. Why is there this distinction between, oh, this has to this has to that? If you actually look in nature, nature's not like that. One example, watching birds, watching geese and duck. If you look in the goose world, you see the men, they'll have their little fights or whatever, but you know what, they'll still come together. You don't see the male goose beating the shit out of the female goose. You don't see the male goose cutting down the female goose. And you don't see geese reproducing with fucking duck. So where did these ideas come from? Colorism? We gotta address this shit in our community, because you know what? It's pure bullshit. My background is, for example, the diaspora communities of Canada, Jamaica, all of West Africa, straight through to Nubia. I'm still trying to find out what the first place was. What was this place called in the existence of human civilization? And I'm still trying to find out what was the most peaceful civilization, because you know what, they were one with nature. All this stuff related to Bible fucktology and all this stuff related to, man is this, woman is that, you know what, that's bullshit. That is bullshit. You know where that comes from? That comes from the supremacy of something called whiteness, related to something called patriarchy. This thing called black feminism and women's studies needs to be integrated from grade 0, but it has to be taught a certain way. Not to say, oh, well, white women saved the world, because white women are liars. Who do you think taught the white male to lynch the nuts of the black male? It's a white woman. Where does my position come from? My position comes from being informed, from reading a lot of different literatures, a lot of different pieces, reviewing a lot of different data. And also seeing the outcome of this. Walking down the street or wherever, I see all these white women with their little babies and stuff. What about the black women? Broken relationships, kids taken away from them, you know, living in conditions of hardship. Like, what the fuck is all this stuff? Then you see like the light skins getting after the dark skins, but then you see the reverse as well. Some of the dark skins that have internalized stuff getting after the light skins, and then you have some people say, oh, well, this person is not really black because you can see the white in them. But what about rape? I looked into my background. I'm like, what is my background? Right? Because I know there's the black side, but what is the other stuff? Because I want to know. And it's based on other things that I've observed over the years for decades and stuff. And you know what? It's from rape. So how is that something to be proud of? I don't even talk about that. Both my parents are black. This colorism thing, I'd like to hear your thoughts. What exactly are you doing to address this colorism thing? Where I am, in a place in the global economic north, there's a lot of internalizing of this whiteness, so that you have people like ourselves, black, who actually don't like their own. But you know what? They don't even know anything about genetics related to the spirit. I'm not a religion person, but this is something else that black feminism from the USA goes into. There's no distinction between womanism and black feminism. Womanism came from something called black feminism. They're like one and the same. There's so many different positions to choose from, but one of the things that we should be doing is we should be coming from an informed position. Where did this come from? Where did this stuff come from? Colorism. Colorism. What the hell is this? I'd like to hear your thoughts.